Let us talk about the errors now in brief, but we will explain the errors and exception handling in detail in the coming sections. Beginning programmers make mistakes writing programs because of inexperience in programming. In general, are due to unfamiliarity with a programming language. Seasoned programmers make mistakes due to carelessness or because the proposed solution to a problem is faulty and the correct implementation of an incorrect solution will not produce a correct program. So in Python, there are three general kinds of errors. The number one is syntax error. The second one is runtime exceptions, and the last one is logic errors. Let us see one by one in brief. Let us see the syntax error now. The interpreter is designed to execute all valid Python programs. The interpreter reads the Python source file and translates it into an executable form. This is the translation phase. If the interpreter detects an invalid program treatment during the translation phase, it will terminate the program's execution and report an error. Such errors result from the programmer's misuse of the language. A syntax error is a common error that the interpreter can detect when attempting to translate a Python statement into machine language. For example, the Python statement x is equal to y plus 2. So is syntactically correct because it obeys the rules of the structure of an assignment statement described in Python. However, if we use the y plus 2 first and then if we try to assign this to the variable x, we will get an error. So we got a syntax error. Cannot assign to expression here. Maybe you meant is equal to instead of assignment. Means equality check instead of an assignment. If you use equality check, then it will check the equality of the statement, and if it is equal, then it results true. If it is not, then it will results false. So here it has resulted true. So for the assignment statement, we need to use the value at the right hand side of the assignment operator and variable on the left hand side of the assignment operator. Even if we define y is equal to 5 and if I try to execute this expression, that is x is equal to y plus 2, we won't get any error. But if we try to execute this expression, once again we will get the syntax error. This means the syntax of Python does not allow an expression like y plus 2 to appear on the left side of the assignment operator. So this is the assignment operator. Don't get confused with the single is equal to and double is equal symbols. This is an assignment operator and this is an equality check operator. The other common syntax errors arise from simple typographical errors like mismatched parentheses. For example, here x is equal to, instead of using the open parenthesis at the beginning, if we use closed parenthesis and then type like this, then we will get an syntax error says unmatched parenthesis. Or sometimes it may be due to an mismatched strings or string codes. For example, if I use first single quote to write the string, and then if we use double quote, we will get an error. Unterminated string, literal, means it is detected that single quote is incomplete because we are using one single quote and one double quote. So this type of string is not allowed. Either we have to use single quote or we have to use double quote. Next, error due to an faulty indentation. For example, instead of defining the functions or instead of writing the code block inside any built-in functions or user-defined functions or classes, if we use space in the regular code like this, one single space or any of the spaces, then Python will treat the space as an syntax error. So look at here, we got unexpected indent, but it is treating it as an syntax error. Suppose if we use x is equal to 3 and if we use double space y is equal to 4, so once again we got the syntax error. If we use the same space, means incorrect spaces inside any class or functions, then we will get the indentation error. For example, if x is equal to 3, see here by default we got 4 space as the indentation as per our Python shell configuration. So this is because we are using only single statement inside the if block, that's why we are not getting any error. Suppose if we use different multiple, so this is the standard 4 space, and if we use multiple lines with different indentation, for example, look at here, the first statement is having the one tab space, that is 4 spaces, and the second one is having 5 spaces instead of 4. So this time we will definitely get an error. Yeah, we got an error, syntax error, unexpected indent. So please be careful when we use a single statement inside an control flow blocks with different spaces. We won't get any error because the standard indentation is what we have set in the Python configuration window or Python shell is nothing but 4. It doesn't mean that uh, it should be 4 always for single statement. So when we are using single statement, Python can accept any spaces as an indentation instead of 4 spaces. But once we write multiple lines inside the same code block, so here for example, if x is equal to 3, display the value of x, and for the next line, so these two lines are not in the same indentation level, so this time we will get an error. Means when we use multiple lines inside the code blocks, all the lines should be of having the same indentation, otherwise the Python interpreter will give an error. So these are the examples, just a few examples which are illustrating the few ways how the programmers can write the ill-formed code. The interpreter detects syntax errors before it begins running the program, and so it will not execute any parts of a program that contains syntax errors. Means once the interpreter evaluates and finds a syntax error, then it will not evaluate the entire program. So that is the meaning that when the interpreter detects syntax errors before it begins running the program, it will not execute any parts of a program that contains the syntax errors. So we talk about these syntax errors later in the exceptions section, and we will see how to solve this kind of syntax errors.